There were Sobers, Benno and Wesley Hall, Damo, Simo and Morrill too. Cricket greats, man, that is very true, who played their best in the great night test. Ramadin and Valentine, Norm O'Neill and Lindsay Klein, all out there in the hot sunshine. They played their best in the great night test. They played their best in the great night test.
The team captains Richie Benno of Australia and Frank Worrell of the West Indies tossed before the start of the first test match at the Wollongabba ground, Brisbane. And judging by the smile on Frank Worrell's face, he's delighted to win the toss and take first use of a perfect batting pitch.
This is the only coverage in existence from those early days of Australian television. It was photographed by a single 16mm camera, and the silent film was flown to Sydney for editing and dubbing. I worked as the commentary writer and later as the reader as well. You see it now exactly as it was shown in 1960.
The opening pair for the West Indies are Cammy Smith and Conrad Hunt. Smith, on the left, zoomed into public favour with two hard-hitting knocks in the earlier matches against the States. Conrad Hunt, a polished batsman and a proven test opener, will face the first ball from Alan Davidson. Davidson is able to move the ball away from the batsman, and his deliberate plan to entice the batsman to play strokes gets a typical West Indian reaction off the third ball of the match. A boundary to open the scoring, much to the delight of the crowd. Now Davidson, varying his attack, tries one on the leg stump. Batsman run two, but the ball beats the fieldsman to the boundary. This is a sparkling start, and it's unusual for Davidson to concede as many runs in the first over. The first moment of uncertainty comes with the last ball of Davidson's over. A fast outswinger has Hunt swishing at the ball, and the batsman has shown fallibility in his desire to score runs quickly. Wicket-keeper Wally Grout makes a splendid save off the last ball of the fourth over. West Indies none for 23 in 20 minutes of play. However, the change comes in the fifth over of the match. Davidson the bowler, Smith the batsman. No score, but a wicket falls off this ball by Alan Davidson. Cammy Smith caught Grout, bowled Davidson for 7, and the first West Indian wicket has fallen with 23 runs on the board. Smith leaves the scene, and there's a great round of applause for Rowan Canhigh as he makes his way to the wickets. This batsman has already established a great reputation with his desire to score runs quickly. Davidson bowling to Canhigh. Canhigh, like Hunt, starts with a boundary. It's dashing cricket, and almost every ball provides more excitement. More runs to Canhigh. There's something of the line of Keith Miller and Dennis Compton in Canhigh's makeup. A lost cap, 2 runs and almost a fall, and all this a normal series of events while he's at the wickets. Now he faces the last ball of Davidson's over, and again there's an incident. Canhigh is quick to recover from his jarred hand, and in the next over by Mekif, the crowd is treated to some entertaining batting by both Hunt and Canhigh. The score races to 42, and then the game takes a sudden turn when Alan Davidson takes the wicket of Hunt for 24. The West Indies have now lost 2 wickets rather cheaply, and a lot will depend on the performance of Kanhai and the remaining batsmen, because Hunt was a valuable man to lose. Play continues with Davidson bowling to Sobers, and once more a boundary is the first scoring shot. The Australian captain is not overawed by the quick scoring, and he maintains a packed slip field. Benno realises that Davidson can move the ball away from the batsman, and already this has brought 2 wickets. It's great cricket to watch, and the crowd is increasing rapidly as Davidson bowls to Sobers. And Sobers gives visual proof of his reputation as one of the great batsmen in the world today. Then another breakthrough for Australia as Davidson bowls to Kanhai. Kanhai caught grub, bowled Davidson for 15. Davidson has captured all 3 wickets, and all 3 have gone to catches. 2 to Grub and 1 to Benno. Play resumes with Benno bowling his first over, and Sobers welcomes him with typical aggression. This sizzling straight drive takes the score past the 100, and even Benno has to applaud the brilliance of Garfield Sobers. This is the start of an innings which was later rated by experts as one of the best ever seen in a test match in Australia. Here Sobers squashes the theory that West Indians can't play spin bowling. It's a long time since Benno has been punished like this, and Worrell too is able to pick up runs when he can get the strike. Worrell scores a single off the first ball of Mackay's over, and Sobers steals the limelight again. Sobers and Worrell have started their partnership which yielded almost 200 runs. Worrell, playing the role of the lesser light in the combination, is making a valuable contribution towards a big score for the West Indies. They've recovered from the loss of 3 early wickets and are still maintaining the crowd-pleasing rate of more than 1 run a minute and nearly 6 runs an over. Sobers passed 50 in 57 minutes, and his innings at this stage included 8 fours. This is a timely return to form after his recent string of failures against New South Wales and Queensland. With lunch approaching, Benno bowls, and Worrell follows the pattern of his left-handed partner. At lunch, the West Indies have lost 3 wickets for 130, with Sobers not out 68 and Worrell not out 16.
Unconcerned by the state of the game, the batsmen have been scoring at the flamboyant rate of 6 runs and over, and every Australian bowler has been punished severely. Sobers is in tremendous form, and Worrell, playing a captain's knot, is restraining his natural aggression to give his talented partner as much of the bowling as he can. Alan Davidson, both in fact and figures, is the best of the Australians, but he can't check the continuous flow of runs. The news of the thrilling cricket has spread rapidly, and the crowd is increasing by the hour. Benno now bowling to Worrell, and a flashing square cut is a good example of the free stroking of these colourful West Indian players, and this quick spate of scoring takes Worrell into the 30s. Worrell's classical style blends in perfect harmony with the power stroking of Garfield Sobers, and this partnership has been rated by experts as equal to any seen in Australia in a test match. Whether it's speed or spin, there's nothing Australia can produce to restrain these brilliant batsmen. And in this over, it's left-handed Alan Davidson who comes in for some cavalier treatment. Sobers and Worrell maintain the fast rate of scoring against a consistent and varied attack. They race to a century partnership in 90 minutes with Sobers the dominating figure. For the 10,000 people at the ground, this is real entertainment because the refreshing approach of the West Indians is far removed from the tense atmosphere when Australia meets England. These fellows have no respect for reputations, and Benno is given village green treatment in this over to Sobers. Runs in quick succession, and Sobers passes through the 80s to move to 90. Benno to Worrell, and the captain gets a single to give his partner the strike. The last ball of the over, Garfield Sobers is among the runs again. A new name appears on the scoreboard, and Lindsay Klein bowls his first over of the match. And although Sobers and Worrell continue to notch up runs, Klein is to prove the least expensive of all the Australian bowlers. But while the flow of boundaries is checked temporarily, the batsmen entertain the public with some smart running between the wickets. The single takes Sobers' score to 95, and the crowd anticipates the century in Benno's next over. Another boundary, Sobers 99. Sobers 100. Century, which was rated by ABC commentator Johnny Moyes as one of the best he has seen in 50 years of cricket. Klein, the bowler, now to feel the might of this 24-year-old batsman who has just scored his 1000 in Test cricket. Worrell is content to play a minor role in the partnership, but his presence on the field has given confidence to the brilliant left-hander. Sobers now has played almost every shot in the cricket textbook. After 3 hours of play, the West Indians are well ahead of the clock with 207 runs on the board for the loss of 3 wickets. The players pause for drinks, and with half the first day over, the West Indians have consolidated their position. Play resumes with Davidson bowling, and Worrell's cover drive pierces the field to take his score past 50. This has been a remarkable recovery by the 2 West Indian batsmen. Australia was right on top in the morning session with 3 quick wickets in the first hour of play. When Worrell joined Sobers, the visitors were on the verge of collapse. But together, they have laid the foundations of a very big score. On the other hand, the Australian team has stuck to the task, and the fielding throughout the whole match has been first class. The Australian fieldsmen are relieved when the partnership comes to an end. Sobers spoons up an easy catch off a full toss from Meckiff, and he's out for 132. This great innings lasted only 3 hours, and it included 21 fours. By now, the Australian fieldsmen are looking pretty weary, but they're sticking to their task well in spite of Hall's fierce onslaught. Hall seems the least concerned as he waits for another opportunity to heave that bat at the spearhead of the tired Australian attack, Alan Davidson. But the big fellow doesn't always connect, and he's not too proud to demonstrate how the shot should have been played. It's been crowd-pleasing cricket at its best with a strong Australian attack team. This is great cricket to watch, and the big Saturday crowd revels in the display by the giant West Indian Wesley Hall. The big fellow doesn't have any claim to know the finer points of batsmanship, but his technique, whether it's polished or not, is paying dividends. Another boundary, and Hall takes his score to 20. And just to prove that bowlers can develop style, Wesley Hall amuses and delights the crowd with his immaculate defensive movement. It's time to attack, and Alexander goes for a big hit. Alexander has been batting a long time for his 30-odd runs, but he realizes that the end is not far away. On the other hand, the spectators wouldn't object if the West Indians, with Hall in particular, could stay at the crease forever. Keen students who study their ABC cricket book realize that this is the highest score made by a West Indian team in a test match in Australia. It's not only the highest, but the most entertaining. And an experienced commentator in Johnny Moyes described the first day's play as the best he has seen. This quick single takes the West Indian score to 400. .400 runs in a test match against Australia is a good effort at any time, but the important thing is the way the runs were put together. It's been a long time since Australian bowlers took a thrashing. And Richie Benaud, who's tried just about everything by now, wastes no time in calling on Alan Davidson and the new ball. Davidson is the bowler, and it's obvious that Alexander wants to get Hall away from the striker's end. O'Neill prevents any chance of a quick single, but the batsmen are determined to achieve their objective off the next ball. It's tap and run. It should be a run out. But for once, Davidson misses the stumps. They try anything, these colourful players, and it's heartbreaking for the bowlers if they get away with it. Alexander now, round the leg side it goes, a chase for the fieldsman and more runs for the West Indians. They cross for 3, and Davidson has another crack at Wesley Hall. The young giant cracks back and charges down the pitch. A collision. Down he goes and up to complete 2 runs with the whole ground in a state of pandemonium. Eight runs in 1 over with the new ball. That's only a mild effort compared with the onslaught in Meckiff's new over. By Alexander off 2 balls. The crowd wants Hall, and when Meckiff sends down a suitable ball, Alexander obliges by turning the ball to leg for a single. Now Hall has the strike, and the crowd settles down for some legalized assault and battery as Ian Meckiff moves in to bowl. Another 4 to Hall. 17 runs off the over. A high pitch of excitement as Hall needs one more for his 50. Wesley Hall, 50 runs in 65 minutes, and they're loving every minute. A bowling change, and Lindsay Klein comes in to tame the dashing West Indian. Hall has established his reputation against fast bowling, and the spinning ball has him guessing. Wesley Hall seems to be in trouble. The next ball from Klein. Hall, deceived by flight, stretches into the unknown. Grass whips off the bails and Hall is stumped for 50. Hall receives a tremendous ovation for a remarkable half-century which included 8 fours.
The West Indies all out 453, the runs scored in very fast time, the innings finishing before lunch on the second day. Apart from the Sabres century, 4 other players reached 50 or more, a good team effort. Of the bowlers, Davidson was the most impressive, and Klein picked up 3 wickets in the second half of the order. Next, a fiery start to Australia's first innings.
A full toss right at McDonald's head. A fiery opening by the giant bowler. This is real test match heat, with Hall bowling at express speed from the start. Here comes another thunderbolt, and McDonald almost gets an edge. The ball is coming to McDonald at 90 miles an hour, but the plucky Victorian opens the Australian scoring with 2 runs through the packed leg side field. Here comes Hall's answer to McDonald's first scoring stroke. A really vicious ball. Straight at the batsman, and McDonald collapses in pain. McDonald was struck just under the heart by a ball which reared up from a little short of a length. McDonald, a tough fellow, is soon ready to face Hall again. It's a full toss, and McDonald bangs it through the ring of close fieldsmen for another 4 runs. Again, the boundary brings a reaction from Wesley Hall in the shape of a vicious bumper. McDonald has taken all that Hall has to offer, never once flinching from the job at hand. It must be a frightening experience facing this giant bowler, but McDonald is as tough and courageous as they come. This is a graphic close-up as McDonald is struck again. McDonald has taken the worst pounding of his career, and his courage has won him the admiration and respect of every person at the ground. It's significant, too, that every West Indian player, including those from the outfield, have come to offer sympathy. A few seconds delay, and here Hall charges in to bowl another. And there's Colin McDonald, as game as he ever was, banging the ball through the outside field for another bounce. And that's testimony in itself of the courage of this tough Victorian batsman. The West Indies maintain their fast attack, and Sobers continues to McDonald. This is quite unusual because the spin bowlers have not been used, and the Australian innings is more than 90 minutes old. Apart from this minor error, McDonald and Simpson are able to score freely off the remainder of the over. McDonald takes a single to move to 44 and then leaves the field as the players pause for drinks. McDonald is suffering from badly bruised ribs, and he requires strapping by the doctor who attended him during the luncheon adjournment. In the meantime, the fieldsmen take a breather with the score at none for 62 after 100 minutes of play. The bowler is starting to slow down a little, and Simpson plays his first aggressive stroke for more than 1 hour. As they take a second run, notice McDonald holding his bruised chest. MacDonald has taken his score to 48, and around the ground, the crowd of 16,000 is ready to applaud his half-century. Colin MacDonald, a gallant half-century scored in 100 minutes. Spurred on by a tremendous ovation, MacDonald sets about to take revenge on the bowling, and Frank Worrell is the victim in this over. Then Sobers strikes a great blow for the West Indies. MacDonald plays an uppish leg glance and Hunt takes a brilliant catch at leg slip. MacDonald is out, caught Hunt, bowled Sobers for 57, an innings which was rated by experts as one of the most courageous in modern cricket. Ball works up to top speed, and the success of the Australians rests on the shoulders of O'Neill. A terrible blow, and O'Neill collapses on the pitch in agony.
O'Neill recovered to go and score his best ever in a test match for Australia. Now we're going to pick up play on the third morning with O'Neill and Favell batting for Australia.
Favell takes the brunt of the attack in the first half hour of play, and the Australians are able to pass through the new ball period without incident. Favell and O'Neill went on to add 86 runs against the tight, fast attack.
Favell goes on the attack by hitting Valentine for 2 straight sixes, and then the only controversial dismissal in the whole match.
Valentine is given another spell, and Favell, in his eagerness to score, loses his wicket off the next ball by Valentine. It's a close run-out decision, and Favell waits for the umpire to confirm his dismissal. It was touch and go, and Favell was a little unlucky to be run out after a fine innings of 45. Australia has now lost 4 wickets for 278 with O'Neill on 62. With Ramadan bowling, O'Neill starts to attack. This burst of scoring is the best Australian batting of the innings. Things are starting to brighten up, and O'Neill's burst of power hitting has split the seam of the ball. This causes a hold-up in play. After examination by the umpires and players, it is decided that a new ball is required before the game can continue. Play goes on, with Valentine bowling to Mackay. Runs are coming quicker now, and Mackay sacrifices the strike as O'Neill is rapidly approaching his century. Valentine bowls, and O'Neill, with a straight drive, brings up his first century in a test match in Australia. A bowling change, and Hall bounds in with the third new ball. This time it holds no fears, and there's some quick scoring off this spell. O'Neill races down the pitch for a well-run single, and Australia has taken the lead with 5 wickets still in hand. This is the signal for aggression, and Davidson opens his shoulders to score the first boundary in half an hour. Hall, nettled by the boundary hit, comes storming in to bowl the next ball. It's extra fast, and Davidson snicks a catch to Alexander behind the stump. Davidson batted solidly to score 44 runs in just 1.5 hours. They take a quick second run, and Australia is 9 for 500. Another over with Ian Meckiff facing Hall. The batsmen are able to score another 5 runs before the end of the inning. O'Neill attempts a lofted drive. The ball soars high in the air, and Valentine, waiting at mid-off, takes the catch. During the day, the Australians scored 309 runs for the loss of 7 wickets. The outstanding batsman was Norman O'Neill, and his total of 181 was his best in a test match. His innings, which lasted 400 minutes, included 22 fours.
So the Australians were all out 505 to create a first innings lead of 52. O'Neill, the top scorer, and the 2 openers scoring 2/3 of the runs between them. In this long innings, the West Indian fast bowler Hall put up a marathon performance for 4 wickets, and the spinners Valentine and Ramadan only picked up 2 wickets between them. The second innings for the West Indies can be rated as a personal triumph for Alan Davidson.
A fast swinging Yorker, and Sobers is clean bowled. Sobers made 14 runs, and the West Indians have lost 3 for 114. Solomon is content to keep his wicket intact and leave the run-getting to his more experienced partner. And Worrell does just that. He's batting quite well now in that graceful Thun manner, which has always been a feature of his play. The vital partnership is brought to an end by Alan Davidson. The brilliant left-arm bowler takes his 4th wicket when Frank Worrell snicks a catch to ground. Worrell is out for 65, the same as his score in the first inning. A grand performance by the veteran West Indian captain. Worrell and Solomon added 83 runs, and the score is 5 for 210. Alan Davidson follows up his great effort with another wicket. Lashley clean bowled without scoring, and the West Indians faced a very real prospect of outright defeat with a lead of 158 runs with 4 wickets in hand. Hall clean bowled, and the West Indians are all out for 284. They have a lead of 232 runs, and Australia has just over 300 minutes batting time left to score the run.
So here's that scoreboard, and you see there a disappointing effort by the West Indies compared to the fireworks of the first innings. Worrell was the top scorer with 65, and Canhay also reached the half-century. Of the bowlers, Davidson was head and shoulders above the rest with his 6 for 87, and Simpson picked up a couple of cheap wickets.
Neil Harvey snicks, and Sobers takes a brilliant catch. Sobers dislocated his finger taking the ball, and Alexander, a veterinary surgeon by profession, applies first aid. The bowler at the grandstand end is little Sonny Ramadan. Mackay beaten is clean bowled, and Australia, with 6 wickets down, is still 141 runs behind. Mackay scored 28 runs, and Australia has 92 on the board. Richie Beno survived an appeal for put behind of Ramadan's first ball. The Australians have reached the end of their batting lineup, and the result of the match hinges on the performance of the 2 players at the wickets. Davidson and Beno rise to the occasion, and this is the start of a great partnership. Davidson and Beno put on a century partnership, and the game is building up to a dramatic climax as Hall bowls with the new ball at 20 minutes to 6. Davidson with an off drive, and Australia wants 23 runs to win. Ball to Beno. It's turned to leg. Another single, 22 to win. A whole bumper, a vigorous hook shot, an obvious 4, 18 runs required. 17 runs to win. It's a real grandstand finish, and Richie Benno is getting anxious with 15 minutes left. It's going to be a photo finish result with the whole crowd in a state of feverish excitement. Davidson attacks and away they go for another run, and they require 16 to win. Count the runs as the batsmen score off every ball. Yes, 10 to make and the match to win. A breathless hush as they bowl, a tremendous cheer as they score. 9 runs to get, 10 minutes to go. 2, perhaps 3 overs left. The fieldsmen racing to their positions, Richie Benno playing a great captain's hand in this, the greatest test match finish in the long history of the game. A push to leg, a suicidal run. They scare for home, 8 to win. In comes Hall, bowling to Davidson. He flashes his bat. It's almost a catch. Sobers the bowler. Benno plays the ball to mid-wicket. They start down the pitch, and Davidson is run out by a magnificent return from Solomon. Davidson run out for 80. What a grand cricketer he is. 40-odd runs in the first innings and 11 wickets in the match. 7 runs to outright victory with Sobers bowling to Grout. Just 6 more runs. The last ball of Sobers over, and Benno trying to keep the strike with only 5 minutes left for play. Now comes the amazing finish to the test match with Wesley Hall bowling the first ball of the last over. They're going to run for anything. They sprint home for a single, and it's 5 to win. Back now with Hall for the second ball. Benno snicks and he's out, caught by Alexander. The 8th Australian wicket has fallen, and either side can still win the match. Benno scored a splendid 52, and now it's left to Grout and Meckiff with Lindsay Klein to follow. The third ball of the over. Ian Meckiff, the batsman. He reaches forward and drives, but there's no run. Hall bowling the 4th ball. Meckiff starts to run. Hall picks up and throws, but he misses a certain run out. The 5th ball. 4 runs to win. Grout swings, the ball goes high in the air. Hall races across and he drops the ball. A bad fielding error, and Australia needs 3 runs to win. The 6th ball. Meckiff connects and the ball flies deep in the outfield. They complete a 2nd run. The scores are level. The 3rd run will win the match. Grout makes a great effort, but the bails go off and he's run out. The scores are tied. 1 wicket left. Hall bowling the 7th ball to Klein. Meckiff is run out, and the match has finished in a tie. First in Test history, and a fitting end to one of the greatest Test matches of all.
Australia all out 232 in the 4th innings, and the partnership between Captain Benno and Davidson dominating the score. There were 3 run-outs, and only 7 wickets fell to the bowlers. And Hall put up a superb effort with his figures of 5 for 63 for a total of 9 wickets for the match. This then was the final historic scoreboard. Let's watch again, just to close off, the last over, the last few balls of that last over. Commentary this time, the actual commentary from the ground. It's quite exciting. The commentators are Clive Harburg and Johnny Moyes.
Moves in, bowls to Benno. Benno tries to hook him, and is out! Caught the edge, and is caught behind by Alexander.
Gracious, mate.
8 wickets for 228. Well, what a test match. Moves in, bowls to Meckiff. Forward to it, drives it, ball across, gets a hand to it, takes the sting out of it, and the ball runs down to mid-off, fielded by Valentine. Ball now to Mickey. Moves in on his leg stump. Tries to sweep it, and here's a stolen single, and he might be run out and hauled it. It's out. 8 for 229. Pull to Grout. Grout skies him. 3 of them, 4 of them getting under it. Canhigh gets it, and it's stopped. It's stopped. 4 of them converged on the ball. Ball zipped in off the mark. Goes to Mickiff. Mickiff pulls him high into the outfield. 4 runs. No, it won't get to the fence. They're going for the 3, though. Grout slides his bat behind the line. He's flying fast, and he's out. Run out. Run out. Run out. Ball will bow decline. And here's the single that wins the match for Australia. He's out. He's run out. Run out. He dumps the sound down. Well, no, it's a tie.